A new age in technological stability is about to begin for Lotro. Their 64-bit worlds are hurtling towards us. Standing Stone Games just dropped the full timeline on the new worlds going live. By March 5th, all 4 new 64-bit worlds will be fully open to play. But there's a lot of important details, like the proper order to transfer and log in to characters, what currencies you need to spend or you could lose them, and even how to get your characters off of previously closed game worlds, something that hasn't happened since 2018. Before they're closed forever this time. I'm your daytime anchor, Sizzix, and it only took me 2 tries to remember how to tie this. Thanks for joining us for MMO News. But before we get to what specifics you'll need to know, here's the timeline so you can plan for it. The new worlds themselves begin access on Tuesday, March 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. At this point, VIP subscribers can log in and create up to 3 characters to reserve name. That's it. Once you transfer over your characters, you can delete the placeholder character and change the transferred character's name. It seems like an odd workaround to me, but it is what it is. Wednesday, March 4th at noon, all 32-bit worlds will be able to transfer for free to 64-bit worlds. These transfers will be free and available until August 31st, so you've got some time. This does include Monster Play characters. But finally, at last, at 1 p.m. on March 5th, the worlds will be fully open for everyone to play. But I promised you specifics. I'm coming in with some rapid-fire quick facts for everyone, then we'll switch to big facts, no printer, that are more specific. Your in-game mail will not be transferred, and Standing Stone Games does not care if you lose anything. Deal with your mail. Similarly, auctions will be lost. Complete them and grab your stuff before you transfer. Also, your progress on the legendary items reward track will not save. Get your rewards from that before you transfer over as well. And a really important note, if you haven't logged into a character since 2014, you may lose some wallet items and housing storage items due to major changes since then. If you log into the character prior to transfer, according to Standing Stone Games, the issues will be resolved. In general, it's a good idea to log into all of your characters in case there's any random rewards or titles that you've unlocked since then, so it can sync up to that prior to transfer. And finally, your friends list and ignore list will not be preserved, which really sucks considering some people may be getting name changes. Consider reaching out to get Discord information or something like that if you want to stay in touch with your friends. But on to bigger things. First, how do you transfer? Well, there's a big old transfer button on the launcher. Click on that, select your world, select all or whoever you want to transfer, including your shared storage, then your destination, and then confirm. If you're condensing multiple worlds onto the 64-bit worlds, you may run out of shared storage, escrow, or other storages. But the good news is that it will all still transfer. You'll just only be able to withdraw things until you get below that limit. But not only that, base character slots for VIP are going from 7 to 12, and premium accounts will have 10 rather than 5. So hopefully the new 64 bits can serve all your character's needs. But sadly, Monster Play and free account slots are still not being adjusted. But the order in which you transfer your characters does matter, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. Next, names. Obviously, tons of people are going to be jumping in quickly. So what happens with names? Well, if a character already beat you to that name, then your name will be appended with a -1, -2, and so on, depending on how many Slim Shadys are trying to stand up at once. But while this is always disappointing, to say the least, you will at least be able to change your name freely one time with the \change name command. So you won't be stuck as Frodo Baggins -1. You can change it to the much better XX Frodo Baggins 420 or Mom XX. Alright, but what about losing your hard-earned currencies I mentioned at the start? The good news is that most storage and wallet items are set to overflow, but You will need to spend any excess of the following before transferring, or you'll just lose the extra: Embers of Enchantment, Motes of Enchantment, Figments of Splendor, and Monster Play Commendations. So check in on those and make sure that you don't lose out. Now that you've got your name and wallet sorted out, Mr. Baggins 420, you may be wondering, what about my sick kinship and housing? This is really specific, so pay attention. The recommended transfer order for everyone's characters is kinship leaders first, then homeowners, then your shared items, and then your other characters. First of all, do not disband your kinship itself, but you do need to abandon or sell your kinship house. Otherwise, you cannot transfer. Premium kinship houses need to be sold in order to have 100% of the writ cost back. If you have a classic house, you'll be abandoning it and you do not get your gold price returned. Only premium housing can be sold this way. Bound items inside the kinship house will be returned to owners, and the unbound items are returned to the escrow or personal housing storage of the kinship leader once they purchase a new kinship house. Remember, this is kinship houses only. We'll get to normal housing soon. Next, we need to talk about your kinship itself. The kinship leader needs to be the first character to log into the world. When they transfer, the entire kinship status and history goes with. If any members log in prior to the leader, they will need to be re-invited. If the leader logs in first, everyone will automatically be placed in the kinship upon their first login. Okay, but what about your personal home? Luckily, all you really need to do is transfer. Once you log into the new world, you'll have a mail that contains the currency of your house purchase price. All your items will be in escrow, and character-bound items go to their characters. You will need to purchase a new premium home with writs. Your storage upgrades will persist on the new home. For non-premiums, you'll need to purchase a new home as well if you wish, but while the storage capacity will be preserved from your old home, the upkeep, ownership, time, and grace period will be brand new according to this article. Just be sure, if you're keeping some characters on your original world, to take anything out of housing or storage that you want to leave them. But now it's time for the most exciting thing. Well, for me anyway. Starting on March 12th, the Dark Worlds, aka previously closed worlds, will return for one-way transfer for the first time since 2018. I can finally save my Guardian from Rittermark. Every other day, 2 more Dark Worlds will open up for transfers, the final one, Windfola, opening up on April 2nd of this year. The full schedule is shown here. These will all remain open until August 31st, at which point they will be shuttered forever. An interesting question that I didn't see answered in the hundreds of forum post replies is if we'll be able to log into them as recommended to fix some issues. I'm going to assume not. I also saw some conversation mentioned that those transfers are going to be as is, so if you lose anything in the process, they will not be restoring it. We'll just have to enjoy our ancient characters dusting themselves off, no questions asked. But I already recently dusted off the old memory banks of my soon-to-be restored Guardian Dagthral, and you should click on this video here to hear why I feel MMOs just hit different back in 2010.